Right, we may as well turn that off, and we are live for the full-time analysis of Spartak Moscow 1, Liverpool 1. Right, as you can see, the enthusiasm is flowing through the room at the moment. We're jumping up here, we're celebrating the fact that as ever, we're this unstoppable attacking force. What's it? What's that, Neil? What's that?
Jet lagged.
I know, in fairness, we are going to get on and have a conversation. So if you can let me finish the intro, then you can talk, right? Third. So there's fierce grumpiness now in the bunker.
I'm annoyed that you fucking telling us the result before we found it.
Oh, well, I'm so fucking sorry because, of course, I made the result fucking happen the way it was.
So Steve-O can interrupt you, can he?
Yeah, Steve-O can interrupt me. Get over it. Anyway,
quiet, Neil. Mommy and Daddy are talking.
Well, Daddy.
1-1. Right, let's start, lads. The whole focus of the last few weeks has been how shit Liverpool are at defending, right? And how that the defence is going to fuck up this incredible, monstrous attack that we have. So the question I put is open to this is that this is another game where we are completely wasteful in goal. I think there was 27 chances tonight. We've managed to score 1 goal. And we've only I think we've coughed up 1 chance in the second half, which was the shot that was straight at Karius. Okay, we coughed up 1 chance in the first half, which was the free kick that they scored from. How many times, and I asked this after the game against Leicester, how long does it take to make a team start to lose belief in itself that it's going to score goals when it's continually wasteful in front of goal? Because the issue tonight wasn't about our creativity. It wasn't about can we play football. It's the fact that we can't put the ball in the back of the net. Andy?
Don't care.
Don't give a shit.
Yeah, like
He's very hipster.
that article in the Independent,
The Ken Early one.
Everyone's familiar with, about us conceding the least amount of chances out of all the teams in the league. But when we do, they're clear cut. I mean, we're creating a hell of a lot of clear-cut chances and missing them. Like, it's just at this stage, you know what I mean? Like, there's 2 headers there that just needed to be directed, left or right of the goalkeeper. The power was on them, you know, the connection was on them. And that's the difference. That was the difference tonight. Sturridge missed a couple of very good chances. He was absolutely shite, actually, when he came on. But he did get himself some chances and it was wasteful. So, yeah, I don't know when they're putting that much effort in, all that intensity, because like they did play well in the first half. Second half was scrappy, but they still managed to have a few chances. When you're putting all that effort in and you're not winning, yeah, it's only natural that belief starts to taper off. So that is the worry. They have to bounce back at the weekend. Now I know it was a draw and it's probably away in Russia. If they had won at home against Seville,
yeah, you're looking at that at 4 points.
You're looking at that.
Can you come into the mic and talk to us?
Russia's very good. They've got two should be easy games coming up against Maribor now. They can get 6 points there. Maybe 8 points after the 4 won't be too bad.
Okay, Shane, going into it, one of the big questions that everyone's asking is why did he take Mane off? A fella who's missed a lot of football because of the suspension lately. He's a clear goal scorer and threat. He's the one that seems to make things happen for us. Can you understand that substitution?
No, not on the performances about him during the game. I don't know whether there's lads there, physios with stats and whatnot, and maybe they thought he was going to pick up an injury because he hadn't played in the last few weeks. But no, Jesus, no, Firmino was terrible. He was terrible. No, and, he should have definitely been the one to be in halt, in fairness.
Yeah. Neil, would you have taken off Mane? Would you take it off Firmino? And when you brought Sturridge on, would you have taken Sturridge off because he was fucking abysmal as well?
You write them down 3 questions, I didn't hear you. No, but I suppose kind of picking up on what Andy was saying, the narrative kind of returns to where it was before the game at the weekend, because wasn't it the same? We're creating loads of chances, not taking our goals. Well, we had 480 chances in 3 games or something like that and scored 2 goals. You know the stats, they were all over the place.
Yeah,
so
no.
Stats are right back up where they were again. So I suppose you can say that the game at the weekend was a bit of an aberration, because the trend over the course of the season is we're creating lots of chances and not scoring goals, and it continued there again tonight. Because teams are kind of, I'm sure they do their homework, Moscow. All they have to do is sit back, let us come on to them, and chances are we won't take our chances.
Steve-O.
So it's nothing new to me, really.
Steve, what's coming through from everyone is there's more that going on about Firmino and Sturridge.
Yeah, Firmino and Sturridge taking the brunt of it, and probably rightly so. Firmino poor again tonight, poor at the weekend. Yet plays the full 90. He came off at the weekend, fair enough, but I think tonight was the time to take him off as well instead of Mane. Probably would have made more sense to leave Mane and Salah either side of Sturridge. In saying that, and I'm a fan of Danny Sturridge, but he had a bad game there tonight. There's no two ways about that.
It's very hard to fathom because he was excellent when he came on at the weekend.
Yeah, he was.
Like if we had got more,
he turned himself into an awful lot of trouble tonight. That was the problem there, And from that point of view, it's frustrating as a fan to see him struggle like that. But in saying that, it's not just him. I thought Henderson was very good tonight. Thought he covered a lot of ground. I thought that's 2 good games on the bounce now, which is nice to see because he was excellent at the weekend as well. Emre Can, yet again, I felt below par. He 5 minutes into the game, he smashes. 5 minutes into the game, he smashes somebody for no reason. And from there, and then, but after that, then his whole game is fuck off. Will you? I'll get him strapped on Mike next week. After that, his whole game is affected. I think he doesn't get into the match, which is poor. Someone said there we didn't have much to defend. They're right. We didn't. We gave away a poor free kick and dealt with that poorly.
Okay, I want to ask about. I'll tell you one player who did impress me was Moreno tonight. I saw some madness going on. Why is Moreno? What about the cross and stuff like that? But overall, in terms of the game he played and the performance, he was actually very impressive. He made some very intelligent decisions. There was the one where he cut in field, waited and played that lovely pass out to the right hand side for Alexander coming on and set up a chance.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot wrong with Moreno if we don't have to defend or Trent in that case, because I don't really rate Trent as much of a fullback. But when you don't have to defend, both Moreno and Trent are very good.
Yeah.
Particularly I thought Trent's delivery was excellent at times tonight.
Well, look, he delivers that ball. He delivered a couple of balls into the box. Obviously, the one that comes in for the header right at the end, that Salah. Like, I suppose there's an acceptance amongst us as fans now that Salah needs 2 or 3 chances to score a goal. And he didn't score tonight, which is generally he scores 1 or 2. But like he of all the people that the chances were falling to, they weren't falling to his feet for a change, but.
Just on that point, Phil, I think it's fair to expect it to take 2 or 3 chances for him to score a goal. He's not a clinical number 9.
And that's what we're getting on to.
Yeah, the amount of goals that we're getting out of him is ridiculous for the position he's actually playing.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
Actually, they threw up, the stats wankers. There was that he has a very decent conversion ratio. So we can call him wasteful, but it's actually been proven.
I think it's because he has so much. I think it's because he has so much pace. He gets himself into positions where it's 1-on-1, and it's generally him and the goalkeeper, and it's not a half chance. It's generally a really good chance that he misses. That his misses are more glaringly obvious than someone who's kind of missing a half chance. So I think the stats are a little bit skewed that way. If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a very clever player.
Exactly. He gets himself into positions where he's free completely on his own, and it's just him and the keeper. So when he misses, you think he should have scored that. Whereas if it was someone else, they're kind of missing a half chance when it's saved. So I think just
if you've got your right winger getting so many clear cut chances, chances are in he's going to score every other game, and that's pretty good for that position.
I don't think anybody's being critical of him by any stretch of the imagination.
No. A lot of people are saying here, or a couple of people are saying about the tempo in the second half being non-existent, and it's probably a fair point.
Well, can I just address?
I think it's been like that.
I just want to put it on the tempo thing. If we weren't making chances and we weren't dominating the team that we're playing against, you'd say that's a fair enough point. But the fact is, we made 27 chances. We should have scored more than 1 goal there tonight, right? Because we made enough clear-cut chances to do it. We had a team who were trying to break the tempo by going down with cramp and injuries left, right and centre. And it's very hard to keep that tempo up if every time the ball breaks, one of their players takes to the ground and basically stops the rhythm.
I think the tempo in European football is generally like that an awful lot, because it's not like the English football where you have 2 teams going at each other hammer and tongs, and it's just we're into them, now we attack, you attack. In European football, one team tends to dominate and the other team tends to sit back. Yeah. So European football tends to be like that a lot, and to expect the tempo to be really high, that's a misnomer.
People forget
To maintain a really high tempo when you have really high levels of possession is almost impossible because when a team is
you always have it.
and a team is going to sit back, so it's not going to be cut and trust. It doesn't exist. You know what I mean? It's impossible.
You can zip the ball around amongst yourself in front of the back four. It's about breaking them down at some point.
Okay. I thought it was alright.
I thought we pulled them out.
I wasn't sitting there looking at it going at any stage, geez, we're too slow, we're not moving it quick enough, we're not moving it quick enough. I didn't think that at all.
I did think the second half was a bit scrappier, and the intensity wasn't there as it was in the first half. I actually think that's been a regular theme for the games this season. Is the second half hasn't been as strong.
Okay,
it didn't help when they had to ring an ambulance every time someone got injured.
And Andy was here.
One of the big things that's coming out is that they had Lev Yashin in goal up until he got injured, and then they replaced him. Yeah, they replaced him with Peter Schmeichel in peak form as well. Yeah. But again, an awful lot of the saves they're making, they're straight at them. Steve, you made that point, like the Salah header, if that goes half a yard left or right, it's a guaranteed goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think we talk about the chances we missed tonight, but it is poor finishing, and Gav actually makes a point there, poor decision making in the final third. We are guilty of that. We're guilty of that, both in execution of the final pass and execution of the final strike, be it a header or a strike on goal. The execution has been poor in that.
Just on that, I think the reason it was so scrappy was that it was the final ball. We were trying to play a final ball, it was getting dispossessed. And then it's helter-skelter, they're breaking out, their touch wasn't great, we're winning it back, we're going again. So it's kind of both sides them being poor trying to break and us being poor in the final ball made it very, very scrappy.
When does the excuse wear tin? And listen, we're not going to worry because we're still creating chances. Like you were saying, it's getting back to that, isn't it?
I remember us in the Kenny season where Suarez had 150 trillion chances that season and scored 7 goals, right? And then the season, when after Suarez left and we were making loads of chances at the start of the season with Rodgers in charge and we didn't take them, and eventually the season tapered off into something that was really poor. Like it can create mental issues for a team who are making loads of chances and don't score goals, and that's to me that's a genuine concern I have looking at what we've done since the last international break.
And then to compound that, we're leaky at the back, and that's in their subconscious as well all the time, isn't it? And the goalkeeper's really poor.
Yeah, listen, Q-Ball 75 says not arsed on another night we win 10-1. That's a point Mysterio made as well in the WhatsApp during the game. He said we beat these 5-0 at home, but
we get a bit of that. But
you've
only 6 games. You've only 6 games, and you can't keep going. We'll get a win the next time.
Of course, we should beat Maribor home and away, but that's not the point.
I'm not arsed in terms of like a long-term thing, because I think things will improve. We will start banging in the goals. We will sort things out with the back. But these are important games. You know what I mean? After dropping points at home in the first one, we needed the win tonight, really. Just to feel a bit more comfortable in the group. Seville won. So to be not arsed about the second game and only 2 points, you have to be a little bit arsed.
Yeah, Razor says, when does it stop being unlucky to be unlucky? It stops being unlucky and it starts being about mental sharpness and clinical.
Well, I think if you bring luck into any argument, you've lost the argument immediately.
I want to bring that point back because Sturridge is seen as our most clinical striker, and now he obviously has had limited number of minutes this season so far, right? But again, the chances fall to him, and he's not forcing saves out of the keeper. They're wides and they're overs and the whole lot, right?
Yeah, true.
Firmino, who is our number 9, is regularly criticised by most of us as a fan base, saying he's a lovely player and all, but he's just not clinical. Now our reliance is completely on Mane and Salah to come up with 15 to 20 goals between them. Or, sorry, each, not between them.
Each. And this is my whole point as to why I wanted us to sign a striker in the summer to replace Firmino. And people can have a go at me. They can say what they want. For me, he's not a 9. Daniel Sturridge isn't good enough to hold that place away. The fact that Firmino gets in ahead of Daniel Sturridge says it all about Daniel Sturridge. And the fact that Firmino isn't good enough, he wouldn't play number 9 for any of the other rivals that we are going for the fucking top spot with. You look at who Arsenal have, who Chelsea have, who City have, who United have. He doesn't and Tottenham. He doesn't displace any of them in their side. He is the perfect backup for Salah, Mane, and whoever is first choice at centre forward, in my opinion. And that's where he should be. He would get tons of games. He'd still get 35, 40 games a season. But the fact that we are relying on him as our focal point of the attack, the two lads will chip in with their 15 goals each this season. But 30 goals from your front three isn't enough. And Firmino, I'm not saying won't score any goals, but he's out. He's a player out of form at the moment and doesn't seem to be copping an awful lot of flack, because unfortunately with our fan base, a lot of the time when a player they like doesn't play well, they don't want to admit that player's not playing. I don't care who's on that pitch. I really don't. I don't give a shit what 11 goes out. Once the 11 going out play to their optimum, and if they don't, then I'm going to criticise whoever doesn't. I
think it's for Andy.
I mean, I'm not Firmino's biggest fan. Like, I wouldn't be 1 and 2 goals to defend him all the time, but at the same time, he's an integral part of that system. And even when he's not, say, sort of like producing the end product, the goals and the assists, he's still really important. He's still doing important things. Like, he had a chance there tonight where he turned and ballooned it all. Said at the time, well, Vardy would do that, or there's loads of strikers do it. I'm not so sure. Like, not to the amount of times that Firmino does it. He's doing it all game. Even when he's not playing well, he's still kicking lumps out of defenders and midfielders trying to bring it away from their goal.
I see. To me, Andy, I sort of hear where you're coming from. But if you were saying to me about his skill level and his capability to see a through ball or something like that, that's where I can say, yeah, there's not many strikers that have the natural inclination to be a number 10. Right, in terms of Firmino is, but the problem is when you play as that central striker and your wide forwards aren't getting the goals, there is a heavy reliance on you to take one of your 4 chances that come at you in the match, right?
Absolutely.
And my biggest problem with Firmino is that for a run of 8 or 9 games this season, he's going to score 2 or more goals in a match, right? But it's for the other 20, 25 games where he's not going to score those goals, and that's the big moments across the course of a season, particularly in the Champions League, where games change on one moment away from home. If you remember when Rafa was there, and we'd often go away from home and it was a scaldy 1-0, it'd be a shit game. I remember I was playing PSV Eindhoven and it was fucking manky watching, and we nick a goal, say 40 minutes in, and then you'd nick one towards the end because they'd be pushing at you. You know what I mean? They were always tight games, and I just don't see at the moment. We're so wasteful in front of goal. I don't see where with Firmino anyway, that level of clinicalness that he needs in front of goal to play in that role, to play as their central striker.
I know, yeah, but you can't blame Firmino for us being wasteful in front of goal. Like, Salah.
Well, it is when it's him.
Yeah, yeah, okay, accept that. But if the other guys are chipping in, which that's the idea, like Klopp seems to try and buy goal scorers like that don't play up front. He wants goals coming from everywhere. So he's not relying on the striker. It's not that easy to go out there and buy a striker who's going to do all them jobs, the dirty work that Klopp wants his number 9 to do, and B, score goals as well. Like, it's not that easy. And he has a fella who's not half bad at it. Like, when Firmino's playing well, he does score some goals. So, I mean, I'm not going to defend him to the hilt, because he doesn't get in either of the wide positions. He doesn't get in the 10. He only gets in the 9, probably because our most prolific striker doesn't do the other jobs as well.
Okay. I'll ask a question. It's over the course of the 90 minutes. Coutinho's performance, how did you find it, Shane?
Yeah, good. Yeah, decent. Kind of 7 out of 10, I'd say. He was involved in a lot. I would have liked to see him. Probably it was difficult in the position he was playing, but I would have liked to see him a little bit closer to the goal. But I understand. Obviously, we went with an attacking team, and I think the performance showed that. Hence, we're talking about 20 odd chances created and us not being clinical enough. But he got on the ball an awful lot, and he certainly made us tick. But I would have liked to see him a little bit closer to the goal, maybe towards the end.
Steve, you pointed out about Emre Can earlier on that he wasn't particularly good in this game, but by Jesus, his replacement Wijnaldum comes on, and he literally may as well sat on the bench.
Yeah, disappointing is an understatement, and you don't know these things. I see why you bring Wijnaldum on there instead of James Milner. You don't need somebody who's going to help Hendo screen there. Yep. So unless you say to Milner, you sit in and push Hendo on an extra 10 yards, it makes sense. The natural idea is to leave Hendo where he is and bring Wijnaldum on. But he doesn't offer anything tonight. Now there's games where he does, and that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, he will have a big part to play. He will score important goals. He will be an important player for us this season. But like I say, it's okay to criticise poor performances as well. And Wijnaldum's was a poor performance tonight for the time that he was on the pitch.
But there's this thing about away games. It's real. Neil, would you ever bother starting with Wijnaldum or bringing him on in an away game?
Very, very hard. I mean, the facts back. I know we'd be kind of half messing sometimes or something, but the facts absolutely back up that he is really poor away from home.
Yeah. I thought we signed Chamberlain for this job share, and
we did sign him for job sharing, yeah, but
it's turned out he's shit away from home as well. So
nothing to do about it.
But
I don't know where you. I don't know. Listen, I don't think the problem was in midfield tonight. I don't think the problem was in attack, so to speak. I think the two of them are just kind of the two attack and midfield were kind of 6.5, 7 out of 10. There was it just didn't click tonight.
I don't know, Neil. Like the midfield were as a whole. Like Sean didn't play too well, and Wijnaldum didn't play too well.
7 out of 10 is a fair.
Where Henderson played well, and the boys playing left and right, fullbacks played well. Coutinho played well. Salah and Mane,
you know what I mean.
They all.
We can all say
we got chances.
We can say this, and we've been saying this since the start of the season. And listen, we played well. We'll do it again. We'll pick it up, and it's going to click eventually. But it's not fucking clicking.
No. Listen, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there was enough chances created to say that the midfield and the forward line played well for all them chances.
That's fairly well.
Yeah, but if they converted their chances. If they converted chances, which they should have converted their chances, we'd be all saying it was a great midfield performance. It was a great forward performance. That's what I'm saying about like the Burnley
match, for example. We had to create our chances. We'd be saying it was a brilliant performance. The fact of the matter is, we drew 1-1, and we were beaten again. We were beaten by Leicester, and we were beaten the match before that. And it was it was like watching. It was the same. It was the same game all over again. It was the same result is playing itself out. The same performances are playing themselves out. And everybody was missing chances, and everybody's just not quite getting there. It's a trend now. It's not just a blip. Do you know what I'm saying? The win the weekend was a blip.
Yeah, Ray says, Klopp is saying fortune didn't favour us tonight. It has to stop. It has to stop being about fortune.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. When you start talking about luck and argument, any argument,
I can look back. We can look back in seasons where you would say that the 07-08 when we drew loads of games.
Yeah,
any of them games could have went in our favour, and we would have won the league like by a long stretch. One of Kenny's seasons, there was no other team hit the post.
That was
more.
Yeah.
These are occurrences in football. Yeah. Everybody can say, like, there's teams that get relegated can say we had a hell of a lot of bad luck, but when that regular bad luck, when the bad luck becomes regular, then you're saying, okay,
there's something wrong here.
Yeah, but I think that like you can have your foot and ball camps here. Like it's not as if. Since Klopp has been there, like we're an ultra attacking side. We attack, we score goals, right? We've been leaky enough defensively, but we attack, we score goals, we create chances, right? It's not as if we're Burnley and we're in a run of about 5 or 6 games, right, where you're playing well and your forwards are getting chances and they're missing them, and the forwards are going, fuck, we're not going to get these again. We're going to keep creating, and the manager's going to back the players, and the players are going to have to back themselves to show, and they have shown that they are capable of scoring. It's not clicking at the moment, and like I said, you can keep saying, look, we'll beat them at home, blah blah blah. You've only 6 games in Europe, so the sooner you get your first win, the pressure is off you. But I definitely think that it's shown, like you said, look at the past, we create chances, we take chances, and I think it will come again. Definitely.
I think it will too. Like I'm feeling fairly positive about the season. Way more positive than a lot of people. Like if you look on Twitter, like overreactions to every single result. Like it is better to be unlucky. Like we can say you can't keep being unlucky, but it's better than playing absolutely shite every game. Yeah. 27 chances per game. That's fucking pretty good. Like it is only a matter of time before you start converting those. But it's all about when.
Okay, look.
The European thing would probably be more than the league because, like I said, you've only 6
Well, lucky
games.
enough, Elf, the next 2 European games are against Maribor.
Okay,
I mean, if we don't get,
I don't want to get into previewing the Maribor games, but I'll put this to Andy, and I think it's a valid point from where you're going to lead on to. Right, we've had 27 chances against Moscow, and we had something like 24 chances against Seville. Right.
Yeah.
Taking the argument around the Maribor team, we go in. Even if we have that many chances against them, where's the guarantee that we're going to score more goals?
There's no guarantees, but the law of averages would suggest that if you keep creating now, like
the law of averages says we score
let's
more
have a look at let's
2
have a look
goals in 50 odd chances over the last 2 games.
It's completely
Between
contrary to the
tonight
way European
and
football
the-
goes generally. Though you usually get 6 or 7 chances and then you get a goal.
Yeah.
And we get 30 and we get one.
Yeah,
It's
well, we
mad.
should be counting the way we play football. Okay, with 27 chances, a lot of them might be just like shots from
Scaldy chances. No, I
outside
see
the
what you're
box,
saying,
or just half chances.
Listen,
We should be counting those clear cut chances.
We
And I
have to
think
give
tonight
a-
we had a fucking load of them.
We have to give a shout out to Christoph888. He's missing Babe Station for this, so we have to
Yeah.
say that's
Yeah,
a big
I get the
call.
Babe Station.
Tell him
That's
that
not-
Penis 101 was on there about sexy online.
Sexy online. If you scroll back up a little
Sexy online, Chris. It's
Yeah.
it's in the
All
chat
over
there.
it.
Get all over it. Supposedly there's live
Fine
cams.
chance of
I just
country.
forgot.
Right,
the
so
baby
after-
oil, so I'm not doing that.
S Finnegan 85
Bit of
says,
spit there, be grand.
S Finnegan 85 says define a chance. A gobshite shooting is his question mark, and it's a fair shout. Do 27 chances count for ridiculous? Like take the Coutinho in the Burnley game where he was just taking pot shots all over the camp.
Yeah,
and they
well,
were
that-
going 20 yards.
Well, that was the
over.
point I was making a second ago. Like, count the clear cut chances.
Yeah.
Now, I can't recall how many clear cut chances we had in every single game this season, but I feel like we've had a lot, and tonight we definitely had a lot. So, out of 30 chances per game, I think we're having 3 or 4 clear cut chances. We need to be just scoring more of them.
I kind of hear what you're saying, Phil. Where's the evidence to support the fact that things are obviously just going to get better all of a sudden? In defence or in attack. I mean, there's
Well,
no evidence to support
there's
them.
evidence
to support the attack, but certainly not in the defence.
Well, I'd say if I'm looking, what's the word I'm looking for? If I'm not looking negatively at this game and the last 2 games, I'm saying that our defensive performance over 180 minutes has massively improved. Take away the tonight again, outside of a free kick and a poor piece of goalkeeping, it's a clean sheet. Okay, and then even at the weekend, it's bad goalkeeping again. In 2 instances, that leads to 2 goals by things. So I'm all for.
We had bad goalkeeping tonight led to their goal too, we could say.
Yeah, but I'm all for the big one, and we'll talk about it on the pod about who should be playing in goal. And actually, we'll address a bit more on the pod because I think it's a valid question to ask now at this stage. The other bit I want to say is there was one thing that, and in fairness, it hasn't come out that much, but the Salah, the incident that leads to their goalkeeper going off, the Salah penalty incident.
Yeah.
That was a penalty for me.
Outside of the contact with the goalkeeper, he's nudged in the back. The big
Yeah,
part
he
is
gets
he's
a nudge
nudged
in the back, which pushes him into the goalkeeper, who cleans him out.
Yeah.
And I can understand why it's not given it's a game in Russia. It's a home. That's a home decision that's just being made there ultimately. But anywhere else on the pitch, and
argument exactly.
anywhere else on the pitch, it's a foul.
Because it looks clumsy.
Because
you
it's
think
because it's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper,
Because it
and you
looks
two lads
clumsy.
know this. Goalkeeper gets away with murder with those.
But he goes with his hands. There's the fucking massive difference to Mignolet on Saturday. Mignolet goes with his hands. It's not a penalty.
Yeah.
Even if he only gets the faintest touch,
Yeah.
it's not a penalty.
Yeah. As you say, he leads with his feet there. Salah goes over.
It's a
clumsy
guaranteed
challenge.
penalty.
It's a penalty all day long.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Is that where we're leaving it for the pod, or?
Did anything else happen?
The MRI tunnel.
The MRI tunnel. Yeah. Did anyone? Neil pointed out right when the goalkeeper went off. It appears that there's a live MRI tunnel in Moscow. Do you want to take us through
an
it?
MRI machine.
It's right in
They
the
could not
MRI
wait for
machine.
him to get.
Sturridge
to get
was
an
only after
MRI.
coming out of it. That's why he was all glowy,
He was happy.
Look out for
wasn't
the
he?
drive-in MRI machine.
No, it's a Champions League MRI.
It's the Champions League.
It's
MRI.
every ground has it.
Do they?
There's one in Anfield as well.
Is
Drive-in
that?
MRI, Champions League MRI.
Yeah, they set up the MRI machine on the way.
So
On a little
they
golf
scan
cart?
the players.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Oh no, well, there's no golf cart in every game.
Why not?
But there's a joint MRI machine
Is there?
at every Champions
Does it
League
make that
MRI.
funny sound that the MRI machines make?
Yeah, and your man says, "Oh, just be calm." And I said, "Well, how could I be calm? I'm in a tiny little box and it's shouting at me."
Here's some earphones to settle it down for you.
Try go and sleep when you're in a domestic. I've been in a few.
You'd never guess.
We shouldn't have let you. Okay, everyone watching on the Periscope, Steve-O is going. Actually, yeah, Steve-O is going off now into the special bunker for the special people, and he is going to do the rest of the Periscope live with Cy Brundage. They're going to be talking stats And,
Well, he will be. I, however,
we thought there was stats across the match. Actually,
I'll be in my own little MRI tunnel in there.
and the one thing I'll say is that Steve is continuing on the Periscope around the post-match piece. I know Cy Brundish was on defending Sturridge and saying it wasn't fair the way people were picking on him. And there's the camera going quickly.
Yeah, that's a hint to get off air.
I was trying to time it this way. The pod, anyway, I'm shouting at this. The pod will be out in the next 2 hours once we figure out a graphic for it. I think there's going to be an MRI machine, a tunnel, and something else. I have a feeling about this. Myself, Shane, Andy, and Neil are going to continue on with the pod, so we're going to be previewing the Newcastle match and also doing some Trippers chats that none of you cunts sent in. So anyway, we will see us all next. Oh, we won't. Actually, there's no video next week.
No pod next week.
There's an international break.
Pod next week.
There's an international
Just
break.
so you're all clear on this. Phil's going on his holidays. He wants me to record the pod. It's an international week. There's no pod next week.
There won't be any video.
There fucking will be no podcast. He will be away. I won't be here.
Right. Anyway, cheers for all for tuning in. I have to do this bit before I go.
See ya.
So, and
So long, folks.
We'll get on.
So, Kevin, what would you say your main skills are?
Rugby, soccer, Gaelic, tennis, climbing, basketball, shooting, golf, baseball, and hanging tough.
Test your sports skills at Skillzone, Ireland's first multi-sports indoor circuit. Be the first to get 100 points and you'll also win €10,000. Skillzone Sandyford. See skillzone.ie. T's and C's apply.